Hello YouTube and welcome to my final GV anime review of 2016. Although, as I mentioned last week, this week I will not be reviewing an anime, but my favorite series of all times, being Avatar: The Last Airbender: The Legend of Aang. Strictly speaking, not an anime, but based on the animation style and the story elements, it could be one. So the story of Avatar: The Last Airbender takes place in a world ruled by four nations: water, earth, fire and air. These nations live in peace and balance with each other, and the Avatar, master of all four elements, guards over this peace. But 100 years ago, the new Avatar went missing, and at that point the Fire Nation attacked the rest of the world. Now, 100 years later, two Water Tribe kids named Katara and Sokka find the missing Avatar, who is a 12-year-old airbender named Aang. From there on, they start an epic journey to master the elements and defeat the Fire Lord before the balance in the world is lost forever. There are so many things that are so good about this series that I could make an hour-long video talking about it. But to summarize it, the story had everything. Everything. There was friendship, betrayal, love, hate, sadness, jealousy, hope and everything that you can expect. Characters go through immense amounts of characterization and development. Especially Aang and Zuko go through this entire transformation. And by the way, my favorite character of the series was Iroh. He was the wisest character of the series, but also one of the funniest at the same time. Speaking of that, the comedy was hilarious. Sokka, being the main comical relief of Avatar, gave birth to so many funny scenes. I think the cactus scene is one of the most famous. But then also Sokka had lots of characterization and transformed from being the pure comical relief to a fully fleshed out character. Romance related, I shipped Aang and Katara so much. I think they were one of my first true ships and I still love them as a couple till today. Another thing that's awesome about the story is that it isn't all fun and games. There is still a war being fought here, and Avatar does not back down from showing us that from time to time. People die in this series. We never actually see them die since this is a PG-6 rated series. But especially if you're a bit older and watch Avatar, you notice that quite some characters die. From the top of my head, I can immediately think of 4 characters that die during the course of this series. So the story was as complete as it gets, with comical, romantical, dramatic and action-packed moments. A word about the music. Avatar has such an amazing repertoire of OST. I compare it to the repertoire of Sword Art Online. Also, Avatar's music is so diverse, with action-packed songs, epic songs, soft and relaxing songs. Most of them based on Chinese music and instruments. But what I liked or like the most about Avatar: The Last Airbender is the entire philosophy behind the series and all the details that were implemented into it. Like the detail that Avatar comes from a Sanskrit word meaning those who descend. And like that, many words and names were derived from other languages. Go and read the trivia page of Avatar: The Last Airbender on iMovie Database. Even I found some things that I didn't know about the series there. But Avatar is based on Chinese philosophy and mythology, like the balance in the world being resembled by yin and yang. Finding balance in yourself is an important part of Chinese philosophy and Chinese martial arts. And with that, I get to my most important positive point, which is that the 4 bending styles in Avatar are based on 4 styles of traditional Chinese martial arts. Air is based on Bakwa, water on Taiji Chuan, earth on Hungar and fire on Northern Shaolin style. Now, those that have seen my vlog when I went to Riga know that I practice a Chinese martial art called Wushu. Do you already start to see the connection here? I actually started to perform Wushu because of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I had always been interested in Wushu, or Kung Fu as it's wrongly translated here in the West. But it was after seeing Avatar: The Last Airbender and finding out that the bending styles were inspired by Wushu styles that I started to perform it myself. So, talking about the series that has changed my life in the most literal meaning of the word. Now, there are a few down points about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, this series could have used a fourth season, because now some minor characters get introduced and then leave the series never to return, and I always wondered what happened to those characters. But the biggest negative point about this series is that we never learn what happened to Zuko's mother. Zuko's mother is an important element throughout the entire series, and it never gets solved. Apparently, there was a movie planned after the end of the third season that would have resolved this issue. But the movie was cancelled to give birth to The Legend of Korra, the sequel of The Legend of Aang. But there is a solution for that. If you want to know what happened to Zuko's mother, you have to read the comics that were released after the end of the series, called The Promise and the Search. There we actually learn the truth about what happened to Zuko's mother, and it's also a great transition into The Legend of Korra. So as a conclusion, Avatar: The Last Airbender is simply the best series I ever saw. I even own the DVDs, which are the only cartoon/animated ones that I actually own. It was so complete, satisfying me on every single level and changing my life in the most literal way. So if I would rate Avatar: The Last Airbender: The Legend of Aang as an anime, then it would receive a 5 out of 5 star rating. If you have never watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, then go watch it. It's an amazing series, and I couldn't have picked a better one to end this year. And with that, I conclude my final review of the year of Avatar: The Last Airbender: Legend of Aang. Be prepared for next week, because there is a lot of content coming your way. As usual, I can find the full list of all my animes and reviews over at Anime Planet. As usual, I will put a link in the description box down below. Now, if you want me to review a particular anime from this list, please put it in the comments. Also, if you have a recommendation for me, put it in the comments as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, visit me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. That I will say, arigatou gozaimasu, and I will see you all in the next video.